And now it's time for the latest exciting episode of Doz's Television Workshop.
Hello and welcome back to Doz's Television Workshop, where today we've got this gargantuan 90s tower of power on the bench. This is a JVC hi-fi and it's got issues. Let's get into it. This is a monster thing. It only just sort of fits on the bench. I've had to move cameras around so we can try and get it all in shot. This is a sort of JVC E78 system. Contains sort of faux separates. I mean, all the units are separate, but they're connected by bespoke ribbons, which is one of our problems. It's been in storage for 20 years. It belongs to my mate Kasia, who I've known since I was at school. And yeah, she seems to have stored half a dog in each cassette deck. The cassette deck doors appear to have been orphaned at some stage. Like I say, it's been in storage for many years and she'd like to use it again. And could I have a look? Of course I can. Issues we've got a volume knob that's in a wibbly wobbly world of its own. We've got a broken turntable hinge on the lid. Not sure what I can do with that. Obviously we've got two orphaned tape doors. Chances of getting those, maybe somebody's got a parts unit somewhere and we'll get lucky. Maybe not. But its main issue is right at the minute it won't power up because we're missing connectors. At least I think that's the reason. So yeah, obviously turntable we've got, that's fairly straightforward. That might need a belt and maybe a stylus or something, but these are the connectors we've got. And as you can see there, that's some sort of bespoke IDC connector. So these all go down to the amplifier. Presumably we'd need to move things around so it all reaches, but yeah, these all plug into the relevant slots on the amplifier. So the amplifier supplies obviously power to everything and then gets audio back via these bespoke connectors. But the problem we have is some of the connectors are missing. Now I've already been on all the usual places to try and find a connector yeah, do not exist. So somehow we're going to have to conjure a cunning plan that puts all this together. But the first thing I want to do is lose this lot and open up the amplifier because that has signs of liquid spillage and it's also got a kink in the top, which I think we want to get rid of. So yeah, I need to work out which way up this all goes as well. So yeah, I think the amplifier should probably be in the middle somewhere. Yeah, let's have a look and see what we can come up with. Right, so I want to sort of start off with the amplifier. As you can see, it's got a dented top. There's some signs of spillage there. We've got this very wobbly volume knob, which appears to be wobbling a PCB about inside. So that's probably good news. It's probably just a nut or something that's got lost. We've got a slightly distressed front panel. Yeah, this active bass extension button doesn't seem to do anything. So right, let's get it in bits and just have a little look what's going on. Coarse threaded screw, 10 or 11 mil long. Bit of nasty tape on here, don't know what that's doing. Oh, it's good stuff, whatever it was. That'll do for now. Right, we've got a couple of smaller screws on the back here. Still about the same length, smaller head though. same coarse thread. Right, what horrors lie beneath? Oh my goodness. Right. Yes. That's most unpleasant, isn't it? There's a lot of dust and horribleness and 2/3 of a dog in there. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go outside and give that a blowout. We appear to be having sunshine. Right, well that's a vast improvement. Unfortunately we can see an awful lot of verdigris and corrosion around here. I think the best way to clean that up is to actually either remove the front panel. Well, this volume control's all loose and wobbly anyway, so why don't we just undo that. I've got some spares in here. It's a bit of broken plastic from somewhere, who knows where. I'll put it in the pot for now. Yeah, this is just going to be a loose nut, isn't it? Right, let's find something suitable. Oh, just the thing. Okay, let's just undo the nut for now. It's right recessed in the back of there, but not a difficult job. Nut. Appears to be a connector we can remove, obviously for the LED on the front knob here. There we go. Put that to one side for a moment. And it should allow us to sort of get this out of the way a bit. Okay. We've got one of JVC's famous wire connector things. Is that the one that opens or the one that doesn't? Might be the one that doesn't. You'd expect it to. This we can unplug here. Those we can't. They go over to plugs over here. And there. Okay. If we've got something we can get at that area of spillage that I'm interested in now, yeah, we can get that out of the way. And now we can see, oh, there's got a lot of fluff in there, haven't we? There. You can see where this area has been discoloured by whatever's been spilt in there. Let's get some IPA and attempt to clean that up a bit. A little bit of IPA cleaner. Right, while the rest of that just evaporates off, we do have the dreaded brown glue in there, which becomes hygroscopic. It would have originally been a sort of like creamy colour, but it goes this brown colour as it absorbs moisture, and then becomes conductive and corrosive. So we want to eliminate that. So we'll just scratch it away. It'll have gone hard. Just scratch it away. If it's under those capacitors, we may be wanting to take those out, but I don't want to spend a massive amount of time on this. if we've ended up, you know, with a show-stopping problem, because we've got enough problems with what we know already. My main concern was the amount of corrosion under that little switching transistor there, but that's cleaned up very nicely. So hopefully it'll be okay. Right, there we are. Still got cobwebs in it. Right. Okie dokie. Let's pop this fella back in, just at least temporarily. In fact, while we're in here, do we want to have a look at this base switch? Yeah, I think that's probably prudent, isn't it? Yeah. So it's going to be front panel off. Or do I just want to power it up? Do you know what? Let's throw caution to the wind and just power it up and see what happens. See if there's any life. It's got one of those really smart pots in it that were popular in the 90s, the motorised volume control. Always thought they were brilliant. Well, at least the knob's not wobbling around anymore. Right, that's okay. Now, the problem I've got with this thing is I don't know how much will work without the rest of it plugged in. One way to find out. Right, we've got a standby light on, but that is all. Now, you'd think it would go into power up for just sort of phono and this VCR DAT input. We've got our own microprocessor down here of some description, so I would have expected it to power up, but maybe it needs the tuner for a display or something, and yeah, so I don't know is the answer now. So yeah, this is going to be a journey of discovery. One thing I am going to do, we'll just check the integrity of these two fuses down here. Yeah, they're both okay. So, stuck in standby. Could be anything really, couldn't it? I think the next thing to do is to go and have a look at what other components we've got. Maybe a little bit of research, see if there's some document online that will tell us the bare minimum requirement to get this to function. That's probably the next step. Right, well, the user manual was readily available to download online, and it does state everything needs to be plugged in except for the turntable. I think is largely optional. That of course gives us a problem. Now, I haven't got the CD player in here, but the CD player has its connector, as does the sort of tuner here. Unfortunately, the graphic equalizer and the tuner are missing those bizarre connectors, and I've had a look online and they're made from unobtainium. Yeah, I think I'm just going to spin that out of there. We're going to have to change these connectors for something else. I'm wondering whether we can sort of get away with mounting a D plug in there of some description. So it's that one and the one underneath, which is sort of a little helpful because they're not mounted directly on the main PCB. They're just mounted on their own little subboards, if you like. So that is at least something. How many ways have we got here? 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 10 are connected. Okay. And on this one, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Oh, I lost count. Oh, 19. So a 19 and an 11. The 19 has got 2 not connected. So 17, unless it's connected on the other side. No, it's only a single-sided board. 17 pin. The only other thing we could think about is another kind of IDC connector. Now, you can get those little box connectors, used them plenty of times before. In fact, we had them on the Quantec a few weeks ago. So we could try and obtain something like that. Be nice if we had the spacing of the pins the same. But yeah, it's either that or we try and 3D print something to go in there. I think it's time to go and do a bit of research into replacement connectors. Yeah, let's do that. Okay, well, yeah, not entirely successful, but I think we've got a bit of a workaround. I've managed to buy some box connectors for the 2 rows of parallel pins that we see on Quantec, etc. In fact, I think I've got some ribbons mounted up for those. I'll just show you what I'm thinking. Yeah, that style of connector. So it's an IDC connector, which should work with our ribbon cable, hopefully. Yeah, so I've ordered 2 sets. We've ordered some plugs and sockets, obviously. Put those away. So for the 19 pin, I've gone for a 20 pin because they're parallel. They always come in even numbers, but they've got a 90-degree PCB mount. The same. We will have to do some bendage of pins to get it to fit, but I think that'll be okay. I think we can manage that. For the 11 way, I've gone for a 10 because that end pin is conveniently not used. So yeah, I think we can get away with it. So I've ordered those. So yeah, this can go to one side and I can get on with something else until that all turns up. Right.
4 to 6 days later.
Right, well, it's many days later and eventually my connectors have turned up. So basically now we have got to somehow engineer replacement connector for these 2 here. So what I'm hoping is that the pitch of the cable is going to allow this insulation displacement connector to fit, and if it does, then we're in good form. I can make this work over here, I think. So we've got 19 things in this bit of lead, and we've got a 20-way connector because they only come in even numbers, so that's all right. If I can work out how to get the thing apart. Where's the little tang? There we go. Okay. So which way does the box connector go? It goes with the gap facing upwards. So we want... Oh, I don't know which is pin 1, do I? It's got to be the one with a stripe on, isn't it? So I'm going that way around. Is it going to be the same pitch, or am I going to be in a world of pain? I'm going to need some seeing eyes. I think we might be lucky, you know. We are indeed not so lucky. Have I miscounted? No, the pitch drifts out. Oh, disaster. Starts off all right and then moves out. I don't think you'll get that on camera, but you can see the cable is longer than the connector. Oh dear, I'm going to need to now order some ribbon cable.
4 to 6 more days later.
Right, this is one of those jobs that's going on too long, but I have procured some stripy ribbon cable. I think what I might want to do is replace the whole thing lock, stock and barrel, or join it. I've not made up my mind yet. So next thing to do is just wick the lid off this graphic equalizer component here and see what the connector's like that goes into the board. And make up my mind which direction I'm going to go in. This lid's a bit dented as well. We might sort that out while we're in there. Of course, all this work is just getting to the stage where I can power it up. We don't even know what's going to work or not. I can guarantee the cassette deck's going to want a bit of help with the old belt department, I'd have thought, after this many years. And there, oh, we've got a spidery friend and some broken plastic. Yeah, that splits off into two things. I don't think I'm going to want to be messing with that too much. I think I'm going to take ages and splice it at that end. But I'll tell you what I will do. We'll just have a quick hoover around there. Yep. Right. So I need to work out. Obviously, we've got a stripe on this end. That's pointing to that end there. So I'm going to take that as red. That's pin 1. And hope to God I'm right. So what do I need to do? That is going to be a replacement for our 19-way connector, despite the fact it's a 20-way. This is our 20-way IDC, which fits in that way there. So what I need to do here is just ensure pin 1 lines up with pin 1, because they are staggered like that in the connector, much in the same way our originals were. Just yeah, I just want to make sure that pin 1 doesn't come out on pin 2. Can't see why it would, but we need to make sure. Meter to continuity, sanity check complete. Plug that in there and work out which one of these non-quilled pins is pin 1. Is it going to be the inside? I'm guessing not. Oh no, it is. So the first row is pin 1. Wish it wasn't, because it would be more ideal if it was the other way up. Yeah, this is going to be exciting. That means the rear connector is going to be pin 2, isn't it? Yeah. That's unfortunate, because that makes that end really quite difficult to do. Not impossible, we'll get there, but difficult to do. Right, there we go. So what I've got to do is that first row is pin 1, which needs to be over there. Ah, dear, oh dear. Right, okay. I am going to remove this PCB so I can work on it and somehow come up with a cunning plan. So, do these pop up or down? That one just unplugs. So I'm looking at these ribbon connector things here. There'll be they'll either push down to release or pull up to release, usually. I think that's possibly a pull up to release job. Yeah, there we go. Right, okay. Yeah. This is going to be unpleasant, to say the least. Right. I think the first thing to do is to move that fluff out of the way and unsolder this connector here. I'm just going to stack everything out of the way so we get a bit of bench on the go. Right, now somehow I've got to graft this in, and that there is going to be pin 1. Oh. I wonder if it's worth me. So the problem I got is these pins are parallel on there, you see that, and these pins are staggered on there. So obviously this isn't going to fit in there, so it involves me sort of bending a few pins. Now the problem is that there in the bottom row is pin 1, whereas it's on the rear row on there is pin 1. So ideally I want to be in back to front, but I can't do that because that would be wrong. Can I go in? No, it's just horrible, isn't it? So what I actually need to do, unless I counted pins differently on the cable, and then difficult, very difficult. I want to get it right ideally. Of course I could put this on tiny little bits of wire and make it up individually, or make a PCB, I suppose, that sat this on it and then had the appropriate pins to go into this PCB, like a little adapter board. What to do? I think the best thing to be doing here is to get it mounted, work the pin out, and then splice the cable to make that adaptation, because it's just never going to fit and be any good. To be honest, I'm looking at it now and I'm struggling as how I'm going to fit it all in there anyway. But I've got plenty of connectors, so if I do mess up, I can have another go at it. Or do I just put wire links in and deal with this sort of after the fact? That would make mounting that up just a little bit easier. Decisions.
20 minutes later.
I know exactly what I'm going to do. Does that by any chance fit on there? Oh, it does. This gives me a bit of versatility, so I can actually make the adaptation inside the unit. A little bit of IDC cable going down onto there. That will then provide the adaptation. Or am I using a sledgehammer to crack a nut? No, I think that's a good idea. That's what I'm going to do. Right, now when fitting one of these IDC cables recently on the channel, when we fixed the Quantec, let me turn the fan off. When doing the Quantec, somebody said to me, you don't need to crush them with a pair of pliers, you can do it in a parallel vise. And I thought, what brilliant idea. It's not often I use these connectors, so I'm not exactly au fait with it. But yeah, what a cracking idea. So that's what I'm going to do. So I just want to line the cable up, which is going to fit perfectly. Line my IDC connector up. Which way round do I want it? Don't really matter in this instance. I choose that way round, which is probably exactly the opposite of what I'm going to do when I come to fit it properly externally to the unit. But make sure our conductors are sort of in the right place. Stick it in the old pan of ice and do it up. You can, of course, buy the correct crimping tool. Worked brilliantly. Excellent little tip that. Thank you, whoever you were. I'll stick a credit at the end or something. Or right, so I'm going to want to work like that. Yeah, that's going to be quite good. And I want a little length of cable, so I just want to snip across there. And that gives me all the intensely irritating wires to want to solder onto my PCB. course, I'm going to have to do all this twice, but hey, I reckon that'll sit in there like that and make a good job of it. Right, now follows a lot of tedious wiring up. Well, there it is. Hideous, and I've got to work out how to mount all this up onto the back panel yet, but it's got a chance, isn't it, of actually working. So yeah, next thing I just need to do is make sure I've got pin 1 etc in the right place. So yeah, that one there should be pin 1. Yep. And that one underneath there should be pin 19. Oh shit. You've got to be joking me. They're all wired up weird. Pin 3 comes out on that one there. So don't tell me orange is pin 4. Why would you do this to me? How is that even possible? Right, all I'm going to have to do is put the IDC connector on and make it right. This is going to be a lot of pinning out because I'm not making that again. Right, another bit of IDC cable. That then fits in there, and I'm going to have to splice that onto there. Oh, it's horrible. So that then plugs into there. And this has to then splice onto that. Right, I'll tell you what, this calls for a cup of tea. Right, so that's our first part done. Now I want the graphic equalizer back, because I've now got to graft those two bits together. Let's put the fume extractor there. Okay, so pin 1, which is going to be on this end somewhere, needs to go to pin 1, which is on that end. So more tedious stripping and tinning. Right, well that's completed all of on 17 wires, isn't it? 16, because these two aren't connected either, so they can get cut off. Still haven't quite worked out how the numbering's working, but what matters is that end is the same as this here. So yeah, right. So that's adapter 1 finished. I've got one more to make, but that's going to be a job for tomorrow. Right, well that's that sort of up together, isn't it really? What I'm going to do is I'm just going to put a blob of hot melt across here, just to try and hold these wires in place. Not quite sure how I'm going to mechanically mount all this up yet. That might be a little bit of a challenge, but it is what it is. And the other thing, I just wonder how much this system needs to be connected together. I know it doesn't work as it stands, but I wonder now we've got this wired up, whether the system would actually power up. And I haven't got much to lose, have I? So I think I might power it up and see if anything comes on, just to get a display going or something. At least we know bits of it are going to work. And then, yeah, push on with the other unit and do the same again. I mean, hot melt glue gun looks like it's going, so I'm just going to gunge some hot melt across here. Might give it a bit of support, mightn't it? Wait till that cools and I'm going to plug it in. While I'm waiting, I can put the lid back on this section, can't I? Bring our main amplifier back in, and we've got to reconnect that. So okay, right, let's leave that just hanging like that. I don't think anything can short out. No, it can't. Let's make our connection and see if it actually powers up. So it's the wrong side. Okay. Just pull the mains off that until I'm satisfied that nothing is capable of getting shorted out. I'm going to plug this into our huge adapter thing here. Yeah, that's connected. No, nothing could short out. Right, let's give it some power, see if anything lights up. I've got standby light on. Nope, still nothing. Obviously we need that other unit connected as well. Or maybe we've got a fault, who knows. So yeah, next step then is to get the other unit in and repeat this horribly tedious process. Right, this is the other unit that's missing its plug. This is the tuner, I believe. Yeah, we've got antenna business going on the back. Yeah, same MO really. The connector's long gone. Right, well at least it didn't take as long as the first time. I'm just going to cut that pin 11 off because it's not connected. Right, so now we should have a functioning system. Or at least one that comes out of standby. Might not be functioning, but yeah, if it comes out of standby, unless we've got other faults of course, which is entirely possible. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to drag it all back in and see if it comes on. Last but by no means least, the cassette recorder. Oh, it's not going to be long enough. Trouble is, yeah, I did have a manual for this and I know which order it all has to go in. But right, let's try it without the cassette recorder and see if it will power up. We are on into standby. And we are still stuck in standby. Maybe it does need the cassette. Maybe everything has to be plugged in. How am I going to arrange this? Right, that's all okay. Standby. We have a display on the tuner, but nothing else. Whew, right, okay. Have I got something wrong, or have we genuinely got yet another fault? Not yet another fault, but you know, a fault. It's so difficult to say, isn't it? Okay, let me just pull the power. Give it a reset. Just not interacting with me at all. It comes up with the clock display straight away. Okay, just disconnect the cassette again. See if it powers back up. Did I not notice that yet? No, the cassette didn't make any difference. Oh, this is going to be horrible, isn't it? Let's go and see on the internet if I can find any information about any of this system at all. I think we need to, obviously the power supply is in the amplifier, so I think that's the first thing to check. So it's an AX E78. Let's go and have a look at that.
Ah, it's Future Editing Doz here, and as usual, this video has already gone on for far too long. So tune in next week and we'll find out if we can actually get this basket case of a system to produce at least some audio. Anyway, until then, click like, subscribe, do all that rubbish, and I'll see you really soon here on Doz's Television Workshop. Cheers now, bye.
Twist the start, but I won't back down. Turning wires and coconut alive. Feel the beat drop, watch the music thrive. It's the Doz, don't stop this show. Crank it up, let good times flow. Got some vinyls, time to play a tune. Dust them off, let the speakers boom. Soaring iron, heart, I'm in the zone. Fixing up the magic that's been overthrown. Mr. Doz, don't stop this show. Turn it up, let the rhythm blow. Wires crossed, but I see the way. Popping circuits, hear the music sway. In the corner, record spin back. Every scratch you break the spot to attack. Mr. Doz, don't stop the show. Got the soul and the sound, let those memories flow.